Can everyone hear me? Good. Thanks everyone for taking your time out of your season to come and catch up on what's new and listen to us speakers prattle on for a while. My name is David Pretty. I'm the owner of Sunju Solutions. We're an Australian family business. The guys at AgServe today have asked me to speak about 3 topics. They've asked me to share with you information about our red imported fire ant products, Yellow Crazy Ant Solutions. So RIFA and YCA, I love my acronyms. They've also asked me to touch on Abolish Pro, our cockroach gel that we launched at the beginning of this year, and why it's so special and unique compared to other cockroach gels. And we've got a third product, Quench Pro, that we're going to be launching next month. So I just want to touch on that. So got a lot of hopefully interesting things to share with you today. As I mentioned, Sunju is an Australian, 100% family-owned Aussie business, and we're really proud of that. How good's that? Hey! We've been around commercially since 2011. We started our business back in 2006. We have over 25 registrations that we've done in that time for the industry, for you guys. Every dollar we make goes back into the developing new formulations and cutting edge products for you. So we're really proud of that. So our 3 products that we have for red imported fire ant, yellow crazy ants, are Attract Ant Pro, Antagonist Pro, and SAS Pro. So I'll touch quickly on each of these. It's interesting for me as a manufacturer that not always do our customers know that these registrations are in play and that these products are approved for these specific pests. So really relevant for you guys here. Attract Ant Pro is our ant plate gel. Who's using Attract Ant here? Yeah. Is it good? Shit? Good shit? Good. No, it's been a game changer. It's one of those products we're really proud of. It's indoxacarb. Indoxacarb is a fantastic molecule, active ingredient in itself, but the thing that makes the bait truly great is how palatable it is and how great the ants consume it, take it back, and it does its job. So our product has a unique carbohydrate in it, not found in other ant bait gels. And the reason for that is it's hard to actually make this carbohydrate go into a traditional gel bait matrix. So we've actually had to start with a different polymer to be able to mix this carbohydrate in, which is why it makes this product so cool, works so well with ants. Now, if you ask me what the carbohydrate is, I can't tell you. I'll have to shoot you. But it's quite a unique, different product. It looks different to other gel baits, and this is because of the matrix and the unique carbohydrate in it. Down the bottom right-hand corner, we can see yellow crazy ants getting stuck into some Attract Ant there. This picture that was sent in to us by a pest controller here in Brisbane. That's out of the site at Acacia Ridge. And this is the result. He put out several placements at this commercial industrial estate. So this is Acacia Ridge. And the end result was thousands upon thousands of dead yellow crazy ants. It works just as well with fire ants. Fire ants love these sweeter ant baits. I don't have a picture to share, unfortunately, but just as spectacular with red imported fire ants. And this product works with all ant species, but it's a great little option when we talk about baits for fire ants and yellow crazy ants. A second product I want to talk about is Antagonist Pro. We launched this product back in 2012, 2013. We designed this product from the ground up. We invented this product. It doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. This is not a simple bifenthrin. We talk about having polymer enhanced bifenthrin. So it has a polymer in the product, which gives this product a number of unique properties not found in any other product in Australia or in the world. When we designed this product, we wanted to make the best ant killing product outdoors for pest management professionals. That's why we call it Antagonist Pro. Since we've launched the product, we've added every pest under the sun in as far as general pest control goes. We've added turf pests, we've added ornamental, we've got indoor claims, so it's a really robust all-round product. The polymer in the product actually makes the product non-repellent. The polymer protects the bifenthrin, hides the bifenthrin, so that it's not as easily detectable by insects. So it has a non-repellent property. The polymer makes the product rain fast. So with the weather you guys have been having up here, if you can get this down on the ground with enough time for it to dry, and then it rains later on the day, you're not going to get a callback, it's not going to wash away, you're not going to have a problem. Really important feature. It's UV stable, so the polymer makes this product safe from the sun. It actually acts as a sunscreen. Because of the non-repellent effect of the polymer, you obviously get a transfer effect, which allows the product to be transferred back for a really efficient colony elimination. pH protection. pH is not talked about a lot. If you look at things like concrete can have a pH as high as 9, and any standard kind of synthetic pyrethroid that comes into contact with the surface as high as 9, you can break it down within 14 days. So this polymer actually acts as an insulator, protects it from coming into direct contact with highly reactive surfaces. Bifenthrin is an excellent molecule outdoors, and that's why most people use bifenthrin outside. So you think about all your Biflex standard products. Bifenthrin, out of all the synthetic pyrethroids, is the most robust outside. And one of the characteristics of bifenthrin is the particle size is typically larger than the normal insecticides that we use inside. It'd be twice the size normally. We normally talk about 19 microns as the particle size of a typical bifenthrin. And being bigger means it lasts better outside, it's better in the sun, it's better in the environment. Smaller particles are exposed to the environment, they can break down quicker. So bifenthrin is a really good product. Because of the larger particle size, it's really good on porous and non-porous surfaces. It's readily available to be picked up by insects. So Antagonist Pro is an extremely robust product. In the government and APVMA's infinite wisdom, fire ants and yellow crazy ants are not ants. I see some eyes the size of saucers. We thought that we could just add that to the label. We actually were required to do trial work because it's seen as a commercially significant pest. So we've obviously done the work to add fire ants and yellow crazy ants. And this is one of those ones, I've got a case study here where I was contacted by a good Sunview friend, Marshall Blacklock from CDI. He's here with his crew. Marshall contacted us a few months back, and the basic gist of it was we accidentally sprayed some ants. And have you guys ever done any firework work with your products? So I'd actually like to get Marshall to share this story. It's always good to get first-hand experience. So Marshall, would you kindly stand up? What I'd like you to share with the guys is how you use Antagonist, why you use Antagonist, and the situation that arose to this.
Thank you. Do I get paid for this?
Absolutely.
Depends on how much you say.
Beers is a standing currency.
Look, we use Antagonist as part of our external treatments for our houses and that sort of thing. Basically because we can do both ants and spiders on a one treatment. So we were treating buildings, there was a fire ant's nest very, very close, was sprayed. We were back at that property a week later. We actually went and dug it up because it was all dead fire ants across the top of it. We went and dug up the complete sort of nest, so that was all sort of, went about 1.5 meters along that gutter, and everything was dead. So that was the reason of the phone call. As it happened, it was just coming on to the new labels. So for us, it's a really good product to be able to use. We've got it in the truck all the time, coming across the fire ant's nest, and a residential property, you've already got mixed. You're just treating while you're there. So it's worked in really well with our sort of existing programs. And we've used it probably on a dozen nests now, and it's working really, really well. So yeah, really payment at bar later.
Why wait till later?
What's the label rate for it?
Get that back though. I'd have to look at 75 mil per 5 litres.
5 litres, yeah.
Yep. Thanks, Marshall. For me, it's a really interesting. It's good to hear these actual real world stories. The work that we've done on this was done in the real world. Quite often, you probably would have heard in the presentations today. You'll see presentations where things are done in petri dishes and done in labs. This is real world work that we've done, working with pest controls when we actually did the registration work for all this. So this is a yellow crazy ant site in Acacia Ridge, in an industrial estate. And yellow crazy ants are building nests all through the telecom pits, and they're using the conduits to make just massive nests up and down the street. So a product like Antagonist Pro, with its polymer technology that protects it from the surface, is fantastic for those. You look at areas where ants love to traverse those highways, garden edges, paths. Yellow crazy ants are streaming up and down the garden edging in this industrial estate. So a product like this just outperforms when you talk about a long-term solution. SAS Pro. Some people that didn't realise that SAS Pro stands for Sundew Ant Sand. They always wondered where the SAS comes from. So Sundew Ant Sand. It's a fipronil-based granular product. It was the first of its type in Australia, invented by Sundew. I'm going to sound boring. I travelled the world looking at sand. They say that I don't get out very often, but I actually got the privilege of travelling up the Mekong River with the Minister for Police, looking at his quarries, looking at sand, and sand's art sand. When we developed this product, we had a lot of trouble actually making a really good product. You think that you just go down to Bunnings and buy some sand. It doesn't work out that way. So originally when we were developing this product, we were using things like river sand and beach sand. And what we found was one time the product would work, the next time it wouldn't work. And what it came down to is inconsistency in the actual base material that we're making the product out of. So you can imagine some sand can have porous and non-porous items in there. There could be organic and non-organic in there. You get variations in size, and when you make up a batch of this product in our equipment, the product that was taken out at the beginning, because of the size of the particles, the amount of fipronil in a 250 gram cup would be different to the product at the end of the batch. And even when you stuck it in a bucket and then you guys are driving around, the vibration would cause the small particles to go down, larger particles to come up. And you take the product out the top of the bucket and 250 grams and 250 from the bottom, and you'd have two different amounts of fipronil in the product. So what we use in this, we actually use, we don't use the $30 a tonne stuff from Bunnings. We use a high-grade quartz. This stuff is actually a mined product. It's used in high-end construction, so when they build skyscrapers and engineering, bridges, etc. We use the $3,000 a tonne product. It's quite expensive. But what this is, it's washed, and it's dried, and it's graded. So we end up with a particle, our SAS Pro particles are all about roughly the same size going through this grading process. So what you end up with is particles that are similarly in size, and when you're applying the fipronil to it, you end up with a fairly relative amount of fipronil versus the other, like beach sands, etc. When we're looking at those products, you may have particles that big and relatively particles that size. The amount of fipronil on this is substantially different to that. And that created the variances. So it was a really important part of our process using this high-end premium ports and making product to give you accurate dosing of fipronil every time you use it. It took several years to figure this out. Very cool stuff. It's some research that we love doing. So SASPRO is great. You don't need to mix it. It's easy to use. It's a non-scheduled poison. No specialised equipment needed. Fipronil is just fantastic on ants as a general rule of thumb. On fire ants and yellow crazy ants, it is just dynamite. So this is one of our trial sites again in the field, Ripley and Ipswich. We're just exhuming nests that have been treated with SASPRO. This is in a park, this is a public park. This is fire ants in Cornubia, southeast Queensland, same thing. Can't really see a lot, there are a heap of dead ants there, but this was done by a pest controller and kindly sent in to us and shared with us. Yellow crazy ants in Acacia Ridge, this is in an industrial estate. We've got gardens out the front of commercial buildings, and around the base of the plants there are these massive yellow crazy ant nests. In this case, they chose to use SASPRO because they didn't want their staff being freaked out by people walking around with spray gears and PPE on. They didn't want their neighbours being freaked out, so using sand was a quick and easy way, non-obtrusive way of doing it. But he also, in this application, they did go and put antagonists on concrete highways that the ants were using in this situation. I'll go straight into Abolish Pro. I'll leave questions to the end. Abolish Pro is a cockroach gel we launched at the beginning of the year. There's a whole heap of cockroach gels in the marketplace. This product uses indoxacarb as the active ingredient, but the key, really interesting thing for me again, and again it doesn't sound like I get out very often, is what's actually in the product. But before I talk about that, people ask me, why do we have two cockroach gels? We have our Batlax gel, it's a fipronil-based product. When we designed and developed and researched this product, we actually wanted this to stay the freshest for the longest in the marketplace. So in this situation, we've actually got a dot of gel that after 380 days is still wet and tacky to the touch. It hasn't formed the skin, it hasn't dried out. So our mission was to make a product that lasted a long, long time. The bait matrix, this is where it's interesting for me. Not many people will talk about these things, but they don't necessarily will know. When we designed this product is basically pure sugar. It's a sugar-based bait matrix. And if you smell it, if you were game enough to taste it, it would taste like sugar. And that's the bait matrix in there. So when we talk about what it's like to a cockroach, we say it's like a nice ice donut. So as part of our giving you guys a good integrated pest management solution for treating roaches, you should have something to rotate if it has a different matrix. And I know my years prior to this, before Sundew, I worked at Bayer, and I would get the call from pest managers that would say, I've used your Max Force, it's worked for years, and now this batch is not working, there must be something wrong with that product. Who's made that phone call or seen that? I've certainly received the phone calls. There's nothing wrong with the product. If you have a population of roaches, it's very easy over a period of time, if you keep on using the same bait, to actually generate or have a population that just don't eat that, whatever's in that bait matrix. You end up getting a population that will just avoid that bait, and then over time it'll grow, and then you've got a problem. So the reason we brought out Abolish Pro is to have a second bait matrix, which was completely different. So we've used indoxacarb. Who's using Abolish, by the way? Got any Abolish fans here? Yeah? Yep. So we've been getting some outlandish claims about how well this product performs. It is a great product, and the reason why is this unique matrix we've got in it. So it's got 2 carbohydrates, neither of which is sugar, so it's different to Batlax. And we've got 2 proteins in it. One of them is plant-based and the other is animal. So to the humble cockroach, it's like a burger with chocolate shape. So by having these 2 products, we have 2 different bait matrix, so we will avoid bait aversion ever happening. And we also have 2 different active ingredients, a fipronil and an indoxacarb. so that we can avoid any chance of chemical resistance. So that's why we have the two products. The last product I want to touch on, this is a product we'll be launching next month, Quench Liquid Ampate. It is an imidacloprid based bait. It comes in a 250ml bottle with a sort of pharmaceutical tip, so it's not using the witch's hat that leaks everywhere. It's got the good twist lock-in pharmaceutical tip. It'll be available mid-October. It's a liquid ampate. You guys know liquid ampate, so I don't need to drum on to you guys about that. It's easy to use, convenient. We've had many requests over the last few years. Just was actually approved, re-registered this back in 2013. We just haven't really rushed to bring it to market, but it's a great little tool to add to the arsenal. Any questions? We're good? Come and see us at the stand. Our business card draw, we're giving away an Abolish Your Pro bar runner, so please drop your card in the box there. We've also got a fantastic toolbox special, which is got the Battle Axe gel, Abolish gel for $169 there. Great value. An Australian-made toolbox. The toolbox actually is made by a family business in Melbourne. You would have seen the photo of me standing on it. It's a top quality, top notch, supporting local Aussie businesses. So, thank you.